I'd like to call the City Council joint meeting to order. Can you do the roll?
Ms. Mercer? Ms. Hines? Mr. Harris? Ms. White? Ms. Temple? Mr. Saunders? Mr. Threet?
At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Kelvin Edwards.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
It's an honor to stand before the appropriating body and the school board, and we certainly thank you for coming together for this joint board meeting on behalf of our school board, and we say thank you. And I would like to just jump right into the presentation of our joint boarding. This is, I'd like to just jump right into it and start the presentation. And is this the clicker that I use, right? Thank you. Okay. As always, we want to showcase our wonderful teachers and students, and this is just some pictures from our celebration from last meeting. Before I get started, I just want to just make a few, two disclaimers that this is projected, and when I mean projected, this is the projected ADM, and what I mean by ADM is the average daily membership, which is the portion of funding we receive for our students that does not include pre-K. So the average daily membership presented is a projection of the upcoming school year 2022-23 ADM. Our final ADM is calculated after March the 31st, and we generally have that about the second week in April. So this is a projection of average daily membership, and we're looking forward to getting our numbers in April. And also, the governor's budget has not yet been approved. And so these are the two things that I just wanted to bring to all the bodies, the appropriating bodies and the school board, that it's not, the governor's budget has not yet been approved. And these are projections based upon the fall SRC, which is student record collection. Expected revenue, I'd like to start there. What I've done was we placed side by side what was approved in fiscal year 22 and the projected. And that first line where it says general fund, local, and miscellaneous, you see 242,500. That is minus that 325 that was given, as we discussed in the joint meeting in December, as relates to the purchase of the land for the alternative facility. And so state funding, you'll see side by side for fiscal year 22-23. As we all know, school nutrition is an enterprise, and this is our projected revenue. The federal funding that we receive from title funds and our ESSER funding. Current county contribution. And if you notice, for fiscal year 23, we have the same number. Current city contribution, we have the same number. So you'll see the two comparisons, total projected revenue and total projected revenue for fiscal year 23, 41,915,840. This is a pie graph of where our funding comes from: state, local, city, county, the federal, and also our food services listed. Just an overall pie graph showing the numbers that I just presented. We all know ESSER funds are out there under the American Rescue Plan, formerly known as CARES. CARES under President Trump, under President Biden, the American Rescue Plan revenue. We've expended all of our ESSER 1 funding, and under ESSER 2, which these funds must be utilized by 9/30/2023, and on the ESSER 3 side, the $7,440,885 must be used by 9/30/2024. This is what we currently have as a set-aside in ESSER 3. And we also have $460,000 for unfinished learning. As we know, COVID, there was learning loss, and we're still dealing with learning loss as we try to bring our students back to full spectrum because of COVID. And also in the summer programs, $240,388. An HVAC grant with a local match of $849,540. And the fiscal year 23 budget has included $5,700,000 of ESSER, which ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Money. And these are all of our ESSER funds. Again, we have spent all of ESSER 1, and we're currently spending down ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. I'd like to present our proposed expenditures. And again, I call to the City Council and to the Board of Supervisors and to the school board that this is a projection. And again, this number was taken from the fall SRC, and SRC once again stands for Student Record Collection. Current fiscal ADM, 1,949. And sidebar again, we will know more when the spring SRC comes out after March 31st. And what we're projecting for fiscal year 23, and what we're building this budget off of, is 1,900 students. And again, taking these numbers from the fall SRC, what we're projecting is 1,117 from Greensville County and 783 from the city of Emporia. And also, we have been declining, and if you look at that number, we are building this budget currently below 2,000 students. And in the governor's proposed budget, what was asked for was a 5% salary increase, and also the division is asking for a one-step increase. And under that category, you see instruction, $1,011,407. It's for administration, $105,097. Transportation, $44,611. Operation and maintenance, $21,809. Technology, $17,959. And school nutrition, school food, $38,507, which total $1,239,390. And again, we are still waiting to see how the governor will be amending the proposed budget. I want to just talk about a few highlights of the budget. 5% plus the 5% increase plus a step, which we as a school division are asking for. Also, a highlight in the budget was school construction. Across the Commonwealth, it has been a big conversation about the age of many of the buildings, and in some cases, some counties have buildings over 100 years old. But that is not the case here. We have buildings 70 plus. 10.5% renewal increase was our increase, which is approximately $230,000 on our health care, and we just confirmed that with the local choice. Approximately 85% from the division and 15% is paid by the employees. And we're also going to continue to use the American Rescue Plan funding that you saw in the previous slides, which equated to ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funding. And again, we have until 2023 and 2024 respectively to spend down those funds. And a sidebar, funds available if approved by the Senate. And so when you look at our fiscal year, total proposed increase for fiscal year 2023, $205,789, and the remaining requests of $32,183 to cover the expense for the 5% increase, one step, and the 10.5% increase for health insurance, for a total of $237,972. Categorically, expenditures, you see, for fiscal year 23, what we're proposing under instruction, administration, pupil transportation, and all the way down to debt services. And as the appropriating bodies know, we refinance some debt to have a savings, and that's what's left on debt service, $864,000. Total fund under categorical expenditures, $42,400,000 $153,812. And this is a pie graph. As you know, most of our funding, the majority goes toward instruction. Then you see 4% for administration, under pupil transportation 4%, operation and maintenance 13%, technology 3%, child nutrition 2%, and debt services 2%, and 69% goes toward instruction. In a comparison chart from fiscal year 22 revenue toward expenditures and projected revenue and projected expenditures, this is side by side. And we would just like you to look at those numbers and look for local, state, school food, debt services, total current county contribution, total current city contribution, and total increase to local contribution fiscal year 2023, and there's 237,972 once again. For overall proposed fiscal year 2023 proposed budget from instruction, administration, pupil transportation, operation and maintenance, technology, debt services, and food services equals to $42,153,812. And so the total, when you look at, and I will go back, for the fiscal year 2023, just to recap, we're looking at $237,972 because that would cover the 10.5% increase for health insurance, along with assisting us in providing the 5% increase that is in the governor's proposed budget, and we're, as a division, asking for the step increase. And that total, once again, is $237,972. And I did put into the capital improvement, you know, we had our joint meeting back on December the 8th, and if you look at, this is where we spoke of, and that's that $325,000 from that first slide when you saw where we were saying projected revenue, because as Board of Supervisors and City Council, you know that we were given that total funding for the purchase of the land for the alternative program. But during this presentation, we talked about an I Believe Academy and also an IDS program where we could serve our alternative education students. And in that alternative education for our students, this was the required component of the amount, which was 3 teachers at $60,568.75 with benefits per teacher, which equals $181,706.25, 3 paras, and looking at materials and desk supplies, which equal $337,235. I thought we would bring this back to the Board of Supervisors, the City Council, and relate from the school board because, again, in lieu of purchasing a facility, we would like to move forward with the component of offering alternative education on the buildings that we currently have, because I echo once again, we are losing students and we have a declining student population, and we're hard to staff. We're working diligently in human resources to make sure that we are staffing, but we have been hard to staff, as all school divisions have since COVID. But in lieu of purchasing a facility, again, we are requesting that we pursue our alternative education in the facilities that we already have. And at this time, I will take any questions as it relates to the budget that I presented, as well as anything from our joint meeting that was held on December the 8th as it relates to our capital outlay. And I do want to echo that moving forward, I do like to end on this highlight. We had discussed at that joint meeting the combination of Belfield and Greensville Elementary, high school replacement, possible new wing at Greensville Elementary, and a relocation of the current central office that we are in. And this is our Q&A time.
Does anyone have questions for Dr. Edwards?
His report is so detailed, he kind of took away the need to ask any questions.
Yeah.
Because we'll see the true picture once the governor's budget comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the local match for HVAC grant included in the budget?
Let me go back. Is the local match for HVAC grant included in the budget, Ms. Barber? Yes, it is. Yes. I saw that slide. I was just trying to pull it up. Thank you for that question, Madam Council. Yes. Yes, it is.
Are there any other questions? If no other questions, no further discussion, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Edwards, for this presentation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I guess this concludes our open work session. And I would ask for City Council to adjourn your meeting.
May I have a motion to adjourn our meeting? Second.
At this time, the school board.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn the school board meeting. It's been moved and properly second. Any opposed? The motion passed.
And the county will entertain a motion to adjourn to a budget work session Monday, April 4th at 3 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you all for coming.